Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this week's edition of Speed's Weekend Preview, brought to you by ChannelShift, your sports world on demand. I'm Michele Rahal along with Rob D'Amico, and now let's get you up to speed on the big events. He's too young to gamble or drink, but not Greg Zipadelli. Joey Logano's crew chief rolled the dice at Loudon, New Hampshire last weekend when the rain started to fall by keeping his young driver out when most of the field pitted. The result? The race was called and Joey Logano became the youngest driver to win a NASCAR Sprint Cup race at 19 years old. This kid looked like he'd been on a date and he made it to first base, Rob.
First base? Are you kidding me? Home run, baby. This one's out of here. All right, now let's bring on the fireworks, baby. And that's what she said because she's heading to Daytona. What were you thinking? Last year it was Kyle Busch getting Toyota their first win at Daytona. Earlier this year it was Matt Kenseth in the 500, who has faded since then, but nevertheless, it'll be 3 and 4 wide, inches apart, big-time restrictor plate racing at its finest. I love this mental game.
I've warmed up to it, and so have a lot of the other drivers like Montoya. Who'd have thought Montoya would like restrictor plate racing being a road racer?
It's because he's mental.
It's exactly right. In the Indy Racing League, the story grew even more bizarre with Tony George stepping down as CEO of both the Indianapolis Motor Speedway and the Indy Racing League. He'll temporarily be replaced by W. Curtis Brighton, currently the Executive Vice President and Chief Legal Counsel. Now, Jeffrey Belskis will take over the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. The news comes on the heels of last weekend's race at Richmond, another race that was run on a track that just seemed too small for these cars. Scott Dixon took down the win with Dario Franchitti in tow. The win puts the Ganassi team ahead of the Penske gang, who crashed both, count them, both cars. The captain wasn't happy. In fact, the whole racing community wasn't happy with Franchitti apologizing for the boring race. Rob, what do you think Franchitti should have apologized?
No way, man. Come on. Are you kidding me? It was boring. And up next is Watkins Glen. These cars seem to shine on this road course unless you're Scott Dixon, who uncharacteristically spun under a yellow, taking himself and Ryan Briscoe out of the race. Now IndyCar needs to redeem themselves after last week's debacle at Richmond. I like Richmond, but Indy doesn't belong there at all.
No, they don't belong. I think they're road course cars, and they need to change up the chassis. These chassis are just too old. It's too much of a standardized. You can't pass, absolutely. Agreed. The Nationwide Series keeps getting everybody's attention, not because of the close racing, but the tempers that seem to flare. Scott Speed ran into the back of teammate Brian Vickers, causing Vickers to rant on Scott. Well, Speed took it in stride by saying they would go to counseling. Meanwhile, Kyle Busch beat Joey Logano to the line for the win, calming his nerves. What do you think? You think this means something for us? Do we need counseling?
Well, I don't know about that, but I will make room for you on the couch because I'm already there. And now that we're talking about the mental game, we head to Daytona, where that's part of the game. Again, just like the Sprint Cup cars, it was the Toyota, but this time it was Denny Hamlin. Is this guy still racing? I haven't heard this name in forever.
What you've heard is Kyle Busch, and I think that is inherently the problem with Denny Hamlin right now. Only time is going to tell whether he'll be able to overcome what I think is a problem, a mental problem that he's got with Kyle Busch. In the NHRA, it was Larry Dixon and Top Fuel at Summit Motorsports in Ohio, with Jack Beckman taking the funny car class. Jason Line walked the winner's line in Pro Stock, with Andrew Hines hanging on to take the Pro Stock motorcycle class. Next up on the schedule is Denver in 2 weeks from now.
Can't wait for that one. All right, in Moto GP, no one was going to stop Valentino Rossi from taking his 100th win. It was cool to watch them unveil his 100th win banner where they had a picture of each and every one of his wins. Congratulations to the doctor. This week, it's the Red Bull USGP at Laguna Seca, a great championship battle with the corkscrew. We're in for a good race.
You know, this is a fantastic thing because it's pretty well agreed upon that Giacomo Agostini, with 122 wins in the GP class, is the leader. But it's a tough thing when you've got these two guys. I mean, Rossi really doesn't want to race long enough to take those 22 extra wins.
Oh, I don't know about that
one. I don't think he wants it. I really don't. Well, in World Superbike, Norihaga avoided disaster at Donington Park this past weekend, crashing and breaking a few bones along the way. Meanwhile, Ben Spies closed the points gap by winning the race. Nori Haga says he'll be ready for Czechoslovakia, broken bones or not, and the points race is tightening up. Ready to place your bets, Rob?
Spies is within 14 points of Haga, and I might have to eat a plate of Rahal's infamous humble pie.
That's right.
I don't want to go there. All right, Scott Pruitt and Mimo Rojas will try to outdo their teammates in Kyle Busch and Scott Speed this weekend at the Brumos Porsche 250 in Daytona. Busch and Speed had a successful test, and I can't wait to see more NASCAR drivers doing this in the future because these two are going to set and raise the bar, no doubt about it.
Ain't happening. They're going to have their hands full with Mimo Rojas and with Scott Pruitt. Scott Pruitt is a veteran, knows exactly what he's doing. Even Montoya had trouble with guys like Pruitt. So I think Speed and Busch coming in, they may do well, but there's no way these guys are going to dominate.
All right, here's what to watch on Speed this weekend. Friday, remember, all times are Eastern. 8 a.m. NASCAR Hall of Fame, top 25. Just in case you missed it, it was on Thursday. Big deal this week. 12 noon, Coney Challenge Series from Mid-Ohio. At 3 p.m., NASCAR Live. 4 p.m., it'll be NASCAR Sprint Cup qualifying. And 7 p.m., trackside, baby.
On Saturday at 12:30 p.m., NASCAR Performance. At 1 p.m., NASCAR Smarts. Rob, I hope you can keep up with them. 1:30 p.m. is NASCAR in a Hurry, and at 2 p.m. is the Rolex Grand Am. 4:30 p.m. is NASCAR Race Day.
On Sunday at 10 a.m., Barrett Jackson's Palm Beach Highlights. At 2 p.m., the World of Outlaws from Dodge City. 7 p.m., it's the Speed Report. 8 p.m., NASCAR Victory Lane. 9 p.m., it's Wind Tunnel with Dave Despain. And don't forget to listen to Michelle and I every Saturday and Sunday, 6 to 9 a.m. Eastern Time on Race Day on Fox Sports Radio and Speed Radio at speedtv.com, keyword radio.
Well, racing fans, that's it for another weekend update for Speed TV, brought to you by ChannelShift. For Rob D'Amico, I'm Michele Rahal. See you next week.